Hey guys, the Explorer 4 here, the Horror Boy, and well, my last review didn't have sound to it because the video glitched, unfortunately. Probably one of the most solid reviews I've done. That's twice now. I did a review on Zombie that didn't have sound, and I did a review on that film, Black Christmas, and two great reviews that didn't have sound for some reason, and I got to re-review that movie again. I'll probably do that tomorrow. But I did want to start because I haven't done a franchise review in a while. Now, I'm probably not going to do too many franchise reviews because, like, I noticed before I would do 5 or 6 franchises and, like, that would take up most of my videos. Like, I didn't have time to talk about some of the other films I was watching, so once in a while I will take a break from just watching, like one movie and doing a review, and I'll do franchise reviews. And, well, I've never talked about these films on my channel besides maybe mentioning it on that worst horror film sequels list I did a while ago, or I did my old videos from years ago that probably most of you guys haven't seen because that was like years ago. And those videos are all gone too. Although I did save a retro review on Final Destination 3. So that review is still up. I actually re-uploaded that review. So if you're curious about that review, it's a horrible video. Horrible quality, horrible review. But I do have a retro Final Destination 3 review up. But besides that, I haven't really talked about this franchise. Of course, today we're beginning the reviews on the Final Destination films. These are films that I remember being very popular growing up. The first movie that I really remember hearing a lot about was Part 3. I remember when that movie was really popular and a lot of people were talking about it. Then I remember when the 4th one came out, and then I remember when the 5th one came out. So these were fairly popular films from the 2000s that I can definitely remember. And the first movie is my favorite. Most people's favorites is the second film, which I love the second film a lot. I think it's one of the best sequels probably ever made in horror. I really do. I think it's a really solid sequel. But the first one's always been my favorite, and it came out in 2000, gets a 6.79 directed by James Wong, who will go on to do Part 3, and also going to do Dragon Ball Evolution. Technically speaking, I reviewed both films. I have an old review for Part 3, and then I have a review for Dragon Ball Evolution. And Dragon Ball Evolution is one of the worst movies I've probably ever seen. So, yeah, but I am a big fan of this director. I do think he brings a cool visual aspect to his films, especially this film. I do like Part 3, but I think this one is without a doubt the best film of the series. And I do think this is probably my favorite James Wong movie. Like I said, I haven't seen too many of his films, but this one's probably my favorite one. And it's my favorite film of the series for a lot of reasons. First of all, this is the first movie that I saw. I remember I've had this DVD for years, and I watched it. It was a pretty cheap DVD. It was like $3. And I watched it, and I really got into the concept of the film, and I really got into the cast. And, of course, the plot of the film is pretty infamous, and it's about pretty much these kids are going to go on this school trip to Europe, and when they're on this plane, our lead, Devon Sawa, has a vision of the plane exploding and people flying out of the plane and dying and stuff like that, and he pretty much has this vision of that, and he warns everybody to get off the plane. They get kicked off, and they all get kind of angry at him because, they're like, this is bullshit, why are we, not going to be able to go on this trip because, this dude had a dream, had a little nightmare, and they all get kind of mad at him, and the plane does blow up, and from there on you have them kind of mourning the people that passed away on that when the plane exploded, and you have Death, hunting these people down one by one and killing them off in seemingly accidents. It's like they seem like accidental deaths and stuff like that. And the movie is pretty much a slasher film without an actual slasher. It's more of just this kind of like an aura of death causing these different little things to happen, and the person ends up dying. And I really thought that was a cool idea back when I first seen it. It's like, wow, like there's not an actual slasher in this film. It's more of just accidents and stuff like that, and death kind of making it look like accidents that were happening and stuff, and how this one little thing will lead to this thing, and it's a chain reaction of events to lead to this person being killed off. And I always really liked that plot, and I think it's a plot that's so cool. And I don't understand why we got to certain points in the series where it was just the same thing over and over and over again. It's a cool plot, but when you get to a certain point in this franchise, you realize they're not doing anything else with it, and you could do so much more with it. And it was done in this film. It was done in the second film. It was done even in the third film. But, and I guess Part 5 tried to do it a little bit as well, but I wasn't really a fan of where they were trying to take the whole storyline of it. I'll have to rewatch probably 4 and 5 because I haven't seen those movies in years. But I watched parts 1 through 3 a lot growing up, so I pretty much know these movies by heart. Probably not that much, but I have seen them a lot of times. But I'll probably have to rewatch part 4 and 5, which sucks because those are two of the worst ones in the series. But I'll probably have to rewatch those. And yeah, I mean, you had Devon Sawa, who is an actor that I'm a really big fan of. I know he was in the Stand music video from Eminem. I believe he was in an Escape Plan movie, and I believe he was in The Fanatic. So, and I believe he did a lot of TV work. Big fan of Devon Sawa. Cool guy from the interviews, and a great actor. I thought he really gave a performance in this movie. He's probably my favorite lead from all the leads in these movies because he's the one that really conveyed, the emotion and the paranoia of dealing with being the person that is kind of the foe to death's, plan. And, he's the one that has to lead this group of people to survival. He's the one who has all this pressure on him. And I think he really does a great job of just breaking down. All of his friends are pissed off at him because he keeps on having these theories about death. And these aren't accidents. Death is knocking them off one by one. It's death's plan. And you feel bad for the character. You really do. He's going a little bit crazy, not totally loco, but, to the point to where he has this room just completely shut off from everything else, and he's pretty much eating food out of the can, and he's got everything to where nothing bad can happen. And people get knocked off one by one, and some really awesome death scenes. There's a death scene where a guy's in this bathroom, and one thing leads to another thing leads to another thing. The guy ends up getting strangled. And the way they did it was very brutal because he gets strangled. You can see his eyes turn like blood red. It was like a very brutal scene. There's a scene where Sean Astin Scott is in this movie. Sean William Scott, not Sean Astin Scott. I don't know where I got that name from, but Sean William Scott playing the Billy character. There's a moment where Devon Sawa's character kind of rescues this other character from this train that's going to hit him, and one of the pieces of metal hits, and probably the most shocking death scene of the movie is where the piece of metal flies, hits the guy in the head, his top of his head just falls off. Just such a well done death scene. You have a scene where like a knife falls into a girl. You have a scene where literally they're just walking and talking, and this bus comes out of nowhere, and just smacks a girl into pieces. Just such a well done scene, and it's such a surprising scene. And that scene actually going to be like copied in later films. So that's kind of an iconic thing from this movie, is he just walking, and the bus just smacks her out of nowhere. And the movie has a cool ending where they try to cheat death to where, okay, if I save you now, death isn't coming for you anymore. And he has to go and save the second lead of the movie, which is Ali Larter, who'd gone to be in Legally... I know it says here in the back of this DVD she's going to be Legally Blonde. I know she'd also be in Final Destination Part 2. I thought she was a great second lead. Her and Devon Sawa were the two leads. Great jobs from both of them. Really awesome chemistry between them. And, there's a great scene. The movie has a great finale where it's Devon Sawa going to her house and there's electricity everywhere, and he kind of just sacrifices himself to save her, and ends up, you think he's dead, but he's not really dead, and they're off in Europe, and Devon Sawa realizes, like, oh shit, this isn't over yet, and before you know it, this fucking sign just falls. He's like, well, I thought you cheated death, and of course he looks, the sign swinging, and the movie ends. And, yeah, I think it's a really fast-paced film. I think it has a cool idea. I think it's shot very well. I think it's directed very well. I think it's written very well. The cast, the characters, the chemistry between the two lead actors, just certain scenes that I really liked. I really enjoyed the scene where Devon Sawa is trying to save Ali Larter's character, and he falls down this hill, and he just kind of catches himself. And there's these sticks right here that's like gonna gouge out his eyes and mess up his face, and he just stops right there on it, and it's just so well done. The ending with the electricity and stuff like that, also very well done. The fact that they didn't really make it a cheesy idea of, oh, it's death hunting these people down. If you would have actually had like a ghost hunting people down and stuff like that, it would have been really weird. Like, can you imagine a Grim Reaper and, like, the scythe and everything hunting people down? No, they really took it and made it original, and made it cool, and made it clever, and made it just very, like I said, very original. It's an idea that I've never seen before done in the film. And it makes it very mysterious, very creepy. You got Tony Todd in this movie, who is awesome. He would go on to be this mysterious character in the series that kind of knew about death. So you're wondering, is he possibly death, or is he possibly something supernatural? You don't really know. And I think in this movie, he does a great job as kind of this person that warns about death. And I know he'd go on to be in like every single sequel after this too, which is really awesome that he was in all these movies. Yeah, dude, I mean, it just got great death scenes. It's shot very well, has a cool style to it. The first Final Destination is definitely a well-made horror film that I would definitely give a solid 7.5 out of 10 to this film. Very, very well done. But anyways, guys, my review on the first Final Destination, kicking off these reviews, and hope you guys enjoy the videos. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching my review on Final Destination. I gave it a 7.5. What would you give it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you think it's okay? Let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. The Explorer of Horror is out. Have a good night, guys.